Mother's Day, I am the anti-mom. Don't ask me for shit.
Hello and welcome to the Part-Time Gamers, the gaming podcast for people with full-time lives. I'm Cyrenex, clocking in with my good friend 9 of 12.
There.
Hello there. Yeah, it's been a bit. Glad to have you back.
I don't even remember. What was it last? Oh, it was... Was it tornado? Was it power outage? Oh, it was internet outage.
Yeah, last week was an internet outage.
It's been a week here.
Yeah. Yeah, last week was an internet outage, at like the last minute. Then the week before was Easter. The week before that was game night. We did have you then, but
Yeah.
it's trying to remember. I don't even remember what the last show was anyway, but yeah, glad to have you back. And, unfortunately, Theo is out today, trying to King Kong Bridezillas, apparently, specifically, his daughter, whatnot. But anyway, yeah, we're back. We're doing a show, and I'm really excited about this one, and everyone else should be too, I guess. I'm just going to make that bold claim. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our icebreaker.
Nice of you to drop by.
Never heard that one before.
All right. Because of the games that we're going to be talking about today, I thought this would be kind of an interesting topic. What insect are you the most afraid of?
Oh, you actually put the question in the show notes this week. I saw
Yes. I'm trying to get better at show notes.
Well, no, I mean, it's good to just launch the icebreaker on us, too.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Not as good to be, looking for what it's going to be. So I don't know, because I'm not afraid of insects. I do have one phobia level fear.
Yeah.
But it's not technically an insect because it's an arachnid.
Close enough.
I love spiders. Scorpions freak me the hell out.
Yeah.
I cannot. Even the wooden models you get for kids to build, or what is encased in acrylic like they do, or anything. I see that stuff at a store and take a wide berth. I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't cope. When I lived in Florida, I was like, so if I'm just gone one day, I saw one and I left. I went back to New York. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly it is, but I was like, oh shit, when my son was born and he's a Scorpio, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to see it. Symbol.
Yeah.
I can't cope with scorpions. I'm not really afraid of any insects.
Yeah.
I mean, ticks are nasty, but
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of them.
I mean, yeah, it's a difficult one for me to try to suss out as well, because it's I'm the person who has to kill all the bugs in the house anyway. I'm not particularly afraid necessarily of them because I'm a billion times bigger than them and I can squish them. But I distinctly remember, I don't remember when it was, but I think it was sometime last year maybe. I remember on TMS they had a news story of there was a spider that was crawling up the side of a refrigerator, dragging a mouse, a full-size mouse, up the side of this refrigerator. So this thing was massive. I don't know, I don't remember off the top of my head how big they said it was, but it was probably the 10 to 12 inch across
That is
size.
so good.
Yeah, that and the reason why I remember that story is because Brian responded with the phrase, "I think I would get a gun." That's that's the kind of situation. It's not so much the arachnid or the insect itself; it's just the size of it. It's like something that big where it's able to like drag a like an actual like giant ass other creature. Oh, yeah, I'm not particularly fond of that. That would be like a burn the house and move away type situation.
See, and big is the issue with a lot of it. But some, I mean, I guess a lot of people are commonly. It's a question because some people are really afraid of bugs, like if they've got
Yeah.
the willies and the creepy crawlies. But I think
Yeah.
it's universally human. That's why so many aliens and monsters and things in fiction are insectoid. Like,
Yeah.
there's just something about having an exoskeleton that and that kind of thing that is so
Yeah, because
alien
yeah. I mean,
that
we're
we
used
make all our aliens look like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're used to creatures having like four limbs. We're just because so many creatures that we are around every day have four limbs. So when you're all of a sudden encountering something that has eight or more, I imagine that's like causes a red flag, or and even might be something just instinctual that is like, hey, these things are a thing. You probably shouldn't get close to them. But yeah, I think it's mostly just size of these things for me, because like most like
I don't know. We have some
insects-
really big ones around here, and it doesn't
Yeah.
really make that big of a difference to me. When I first moved to Florida, when I lived down there, that was weird. Because
Yeah.
from growing up in New York and then going to Florida, all the bugs are just bigger. Just so much bigger. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, I know what that is, but why is it 10 times the size?
Yeah.
But still, not afraid so much as
Yeah. Not so much
I
afraid,
again
just kind of
in a room,
by it.
even with a bunch of roommates, I was the one to take care of the bugs because
Yeah.
I am not afraid.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm always the bug person. I have to take care of all of them. Partially because I'm also the tallest, so if it's up on the ceiling or out high on the wall, I'm the only person who could reach it in the first place.
Are you
But
tall, by
yeah,
the way?
yeah, I'm 6 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
Tall-ish, I guess. Considering
Like,
like
we've never met in person, so
yeah,
I'm just,
I know.
you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how tall you are.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'm
I
6
only see
foot.
this part of you.
That is true. I mean, granted, after hearing that, like, so many of the podcasters I listen to say like, yeah, I'm like 6'8", like just off the cuff. No, I don't think anyone ever actually said that. I think it's like Scott. I think he says what 6'4" or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kyle is pretty tall too. So yeah, it's just I'm
Bobby's not
tall-ish.
tall.
Yeah, good to know.
Bobby's normal size. He just has lots of hair.
Yeah. So
Travis is tall.
yeah, that's
Travis
what I've heard
is
too.
really tall.
Yeah. So
And Rev. We have a lot
Yeah.
of giants in the community.
yeah. Oh, but it's just I say this each time. I'm really hoping to be able to get to TMS Vegas next year. I'm going like so. Random thing we mentioned in the pre-show. So tomorrow actually. The recording of the show is April 15th, and tomorrow is kind of a big deal for at least for me, for two reasons. One, it's the 2-year anniversary of us restarting the part-time gamers. So we've been back at the show for the last 2 years. It's also the 18th anniversary of my 21st birthday. So do the math, and I just like saying that way, so that way I don't have to say how old I am. But I'm hoping that next year, to be in a decent enough financial place that I'll be able to get to TMS Vegas. I kind of want to leverage the fact that it's going to be my 40th birthday next year to maybe motivate people to contribute. I don't know. Anyway,
There you go. I just want money
yeah.
for my birthday.
Oh, I just want a plane ticket to Vegas. Oh,
There you
but
go.
I've wanted to meet Frog Pants community members in person for years, and just money sucks. I hate it. I hate the
Yeah.
need for it, and the fact that everything is getting more expensive. But that's my goal. Hopefully we'll get to it, but I'm hoping. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get into our water cooler talk.
You get that thing I sent you?
All right, September, let's go ahead and get started with your article about cross-stitch Skyrim.
Yeah, so I mean, it's short and sweet, but I wanted to bring positivity because I didn't know Theo wasn't going to be here to be screaming about a game company. But a Skyrim player made a cross stitch of the game's map, and I love this.
Yeah, this is a great image.
This is like great little positive, nifty fandom thing. And that map in particular, it is so iconic. Like, I actually didn't even play Skyrim, but my son Fletcher did a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Enough that at the Renaissance Fair here in North Carolina many years ago, they have a booth where you can buy, old-timey maps. Like, they're hand-drawn, and they do it on paper that's dyed to look like it's old parchment. And that's what he wanted. Yeah. Like, my son has a Skyrim map, and so I really got a kick out of this nifty cross-stitch.
So the funny thing is, in the article, a little bit down on the page, they show basically what you were describing, like the Skyrim map that kind of looks like it's parchment. And also the one that I have on my wall. It's the exact same one. I believe it came in the special edition of the physical copy back in the day. Yeah, that's one of the few things I actually have up on my wall for.
Yeah, that's something they mentioned in the article too. Like the super deluxe version came with a map.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool though. And it has a very, very elegantly done cross-stitch map of it. I mean, I'm sure you're more familiar with how difficult something like this is. I have no idea. So, I mean, it's just the fact that
apparently the person who did it said 5,900 stitches.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's a lot.
Well, I mean, just it's not that hard to think about. It's because it's you've got a piece of cloth and you draw the pattern on it, and then you are stitching embroidery thread. It's thicker than regular thread, and just doing a stitch all along those lines, basically tracing this design.
Oh, wow.
So think about doing that almost 6,000 times.
Okay, yeah.
Up and down through a hoop, because you have to put it in a hoop that draws it like tight.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that is pretty impressive. Yeah. And it's like, again, with the detail that it has on it, with the rivers and even the lines for the roads between the major cities. If you are
little crests or icons or whatever.
Yeah, those are pretty impressive.
And the font.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can check out the link to this, get an idea of the image that we have here by going to our our show notes, or there's a link in our chat as well. But yeah, it's pretty elegant. That's really nice. Yeah, cool. All right, and the article that I brought today. So recently on Steam, there's something that is referred to as the Triple I Initiative. That a bunch of kind of big name independent studios have kind of come together, and they're displaying their games in this initiative to try to just bring awareness to how much stuff is going on with independent games. Like, I assume the reason why it's called Triple I is because it's the independent version of Triple A. That's what I assume. I don't know if that's actually accurate, but that's my assumption. But one game in particular that came about from this Triple I initiative caught my eye. Slay the Spire 2 has been announced to be released next year. And anyone who's listened to the show knows that Slay the Spire is still arguably one of my favorite games of all time. It's a game that I can always go back to, always play and always have a great time playing. It's one of the few games that I've bought on multiple devices and have played multiple hundreds of hours on those multiple devices. That's how much I enjoy this game. It's basically the
I know
only.
you were so excited. Like this popped
Yes.
up in your feed somewhere. You're like, well, know what I'm talking about
Yeah.
during the show.
Yeah, as soon like there was a couple other ones I thought of or that I saw that I was thinking, and then I saw this and I was like, nope, this is it.
That would
So-
be the thing. I love that the article begins with goodbye free time.
Yes, exactly. So I mean this game has been so influential in so many different other games that have come about from it. I mean, to the point where a lot of games are referred to as Slay the Spire likes, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I've heard that a lot, and I've never
Yeah.
played it. But
But yeah, it's such an influential game. Again, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and there's just more of it. They're changing things up. They're changing out mechanics. They're going to be
whole new
updating.
engine. looks
Yeah,
like.
that's another big thing. Is the original one was done in Unity, and then after the whole kerfuffle with the pricing or whatnot of Unity, Megacrit, which is the developers of Slay the Spire, said, okay, we're not going to be using Unity. If this is what they're going to be doing with this, we're not going to be using it. And even though they completely backtracked on all of that stuff, Megacrit stuck to their guns, and they developed the whole thing in Godot, or however you want to pronounce it. I don't know how it's officially pronounced, but and they stuck to that. So it's developed in Godot, and yeah, it is, from what they've shown so far. They have a gameplay trailer which is like a really good anime style trailer for it, so you can tell that, yay, this has got a little bit of money behind it now. It's no longer just this little AAA or this little independent game anymore. It's made a big impact. And they show some screenshots. It looks it still has, you can tell it's still very much grounded in a similar art style. It does have some more advancements. It looks like it has better animation for the characters. The animation in the original is very, very minimal. It does look like they have a little bit more animation in this, but you look at the screenshots and you can tell this is Slay the Spire. This is they don't need to change a whole lot about this game. They just like add some new enemies, add some new mechanics, new items, stuff like that, and just like update some of the visuals. That's all they really need to do. And I'm thankful that it doesn't look like they've gone much further than that. One thing that is slightly disappointing, at least for what they have, the information that we have right now, is they do not have they don't have the same three classes. They have the Ironclad, the Silent, those are both from the original, but then instead of having the Defect, they have one called the Necrobinder, which is, it looks like some kind of, necromancer, probably relies on calling up ghouls and stuff like that to fight for him. So that'll be an interesting play style. I'm looking forward to that. But that just because those are the three that they're starting off with in this does not necessarily mean that those are going to be the only three that they're going to use, that they're going to have. So I am interested in seeing what they add, class wise, and I'm just really excited to see what advancements they have in the game. Just like the beginning of the. Go ahead.
Put it out there too that Slay the Spire, the original, is discounted on Steam right now.
Is
It's
it?
$6.24.
I mean that's probably for the Triple I initiative, because
that's why I went to look, because I was like,
Yeah.
if they announce a sequel, I bet it's marked down and it's 75% off.
Yeah. So, yeah, just really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Okay, it's less
I
than
put it on my wish list.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely have this on my wish list. Really looking forward to that. So I'm sure there's other news going on, but those were the ones that we were excited about. So before we get back to work, just wanted to mention our Patreon, patreon.com/ptgcast. If you like what you're hearing and like a little bit more of it, becoming a patron over there gets you access to the pre and post show of our recordings. We record about half an hour extra content each episode. And if you're a $5 or $10 patron over there, you can get access to that pre-shows. You can hear us talking about other random stuff that we'd like to talk about. Sometimes it gets random. You can hear about me wondering if I'm the terrible person for not wanting any responsibilities on my birthday, that kind of stuff. That is at patreon.com/ptgcast. And with that, let's go ahead and get back to work.
Morning break is over. Morning break is over.
All right. Really excited to be talking about these games. It's one of the games I've been hooked on lately, and a lot of other people have been hooked on as well. Helldivers. We're going to be talking about both 1 and 2. Both are developed by Arrowhead Studios and published by Sony Sony Interactive Entertainment, so too many syllables, for the PlayStation, and PlayStation PC for Windows. The original Helldivers is $19.99 on PlayStation and Windows via Steam. Helldivers 2 is $39.99 on PlayStation and Windows via Steam. So, again, our theme this month is the same but different. So these games are vastly different, at least in the play style. So a lot of people are familiar with Helldivers 2 now. It's kind of a big up-and-coming game that's been going around. Third-person shooter, cooperative, really fun to play. A lot of people are unaware of Helldivers 1, which was actually an isometric, top-down shooter. Completely different style of play. And just still has the co-op element, still has the 4-player element, but completely different perspective. So that being said, other than that, there's not actually a whole lot of difference in the gameplay. It's like from what I've been discovering. So you still have a lot of the same elements. You still have the stratagems, where you have to stop and input a directional code in order to call down an airstrike or something like that. It's pretty much the same in both games. It functions almost identically. Navigating the map is pretty much identical as well. Getting the different objectives, all pretty much the same. The kind of subtle differences in Helldivers 1, the stratagems are unlocked via mission rewards. So you have to find a mission and it says, okay, unlocks whatever stratagem, strafing run, for example. So complete the mission, you get that stratagem. In Helldivers 2, they have a series of different kinds of currency that you can earn throughout the missions. And so stratagems are unlocked using requisition slips, which are basically credits. Weapons, armor, and perks in Helldivers 1 are unlocked via just leveling up. You don't have to spend anything. You just automatically get these things once you hit a certain level. In Helldivers 2, they're unlocked via spending medals, another form of currency, in war bonds, which are kind of like battle passes. Anyone who has seen some of the battle passes from Fortnite, they do kind of a similar thing. It's not a linear thing where you have to go level by level. It actually gives you a page of options, and you can pick which ones you want. And then once you spend a certain amount of currency on the first page, you can advance to the next page, so on and so forth, and just kind of unlock things in whatever order you want, to a degree. And the thing is, the base war bond is completely free. It just comes with the game. And there are already 3 war bonds in that are premium, but even those are pretty cheap. And like they're, I think, $10 worth of currency. And you get their real world currency is called super credits. Everything is just super in this game for whatever reason, because it's funny, I assume. And you can get super credits in the war bonds, and you can also get super credits just by playing the game. You can find them in the levels. which I think is pretty impressive too.
I was surprised to see how very, very different
Yeah.
they were. And I can't play this because I don't have the platform, but
Yeah,
I
unfortunately it's
did
Windows
look into
only
them a
or
lot.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got an Xbox and I've got a Mac. So
Yeah.
locked me out of there. But I was really into are the missions. I couldn't determine how similar the missions are as much as the game changed. Because in one, I saw they had things like escort missions. Like it, you know what I mean? Like they were escorting a caravan. I saw that
Yeah.
going on. I was like, oh, so it's like
I don't. Was that in Helldivers 1 that they had?
in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they have that kind of like a strictly an escort mission in Helldivers 2 yet. They do have a mission where you have to protect like priority citizens was what they refer to them as in one location. So like they have to go from like a bunker that they're safe into, like go through the level and go into another like a spaceport for being transported out.
Right.
But
Yeah.
other than that, you're not like there's no vehicles that you can control other than there's a mech that you can get in Helldivers 2.
I understand Helldivers 2 people are really hoping for vehicles because there's
Yes.
some kind of vehicle bay that you get to see. But boy, there's a lot of stuff that this company that made the game is so into the same kind of
Yeah.
a lot of fiction I've read and other games, and there's all these Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Once you uncover the plot, I think it's funny when you go live and you're like spreading democracy, which I always when I see that I'm like, that's so sus. Like,
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
saying that out loud, that's so sus.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
did look into like the deep dive on the plot of this game
Oh
and
yeah.
what's
We're the bad guys.
probably really happening. It's some
Yeah.
imperialist bullshit, as I
Oh, yeah.
suspected. But they
Yeah.
refer to Mass Effect. They outright say like, "Oh yeah, we totally based a lot of this on like Starship Troopers."
Oh yeah.
And you can see it
Oh, yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there are no illusions. We are the bad guys. We are the aggressors as the Helldivers. We're just brainwashed cannon fodder soldiers just going into enemy territory to die needlessly and maybe take over some planetary stuff. We're
But
the
they
bad
started with this like, but Earth is the home of humanity and everyone's attacking it and you're going to defend it. Like that's how they brainwash you, right?
guys. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can. They layer it on thick. There's a lot of just brainwashing in this. At least whatever. But that being said, it is when you really look at it, it is very satirical. It is it is just fun. It's just a blast to play. I have not actually played the original Helldivers. I didn't actually know it existed until Helldivers 2 started getting. I was one of the people that didn't know about this series until everyone started talking about this Helldivers 2. It's like, hey, this looks pretty cool. And then went back and started looking at Helldivers 1. And I do want to try it out. I mean, I do like that style
It
of
does
game.
look like something you would like.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's very similar in function or like in I guess in function to Helldivers 2, where you're just going around doing the missions and trying to protect yourself and everything, and it's still wicked difficult. But it's the one complaint that I've read. I don't know if it's different now, but it is a persistent war. It is a persistent online thing going on. So the problem I've been hearing for a couple of people is they can't unlock certain stratagems because those factions are no longer available to fight. They've already been beaten. So I don't know if that's changed. I mean, this game is almost 10 years old. It came out in 2015. It's crazy
One
for
is
me.
only like $20 right now. So
Yeah, I mean that's too.
how much content do you want for $20?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, if you want the version that has all of the DLCs too, that's like I think 30. It's not that much more. So there's even for being relatively cheap, there's a lot of content to it. But they did say that it's like you can go into offline mode and you can still unlock everything through that as well. but it does. It's it's just crazy and frantic. And I love the fact that this company, Arrowhead Studio, to talk specifically about them for a little bit, not just these two games, their games shouldn't work. It's like on paper, they do a bunch of things that no other game does, because in those games they just wouldn't work. Like, for example, so this is the same company that developed the series Magicka. So anyone familiar with Magicka knows that the way that you cast magic spells in Magicka is you don't do, okay, you press a button and you cast a fireball. You have to do a code of like, okay, I want fire, rock, magic, combine those together, and that's fireball. Or just like fire, air, water, and it creates a steam wall or something like that. It's very much, they have this kind of theme for most of their games. They continue that on into Helldivers 1, where you have the stratagems where you have to, it's like, okay, it's not just, I press a button and I call down this thing. It's like, okay, I have to go left, up, left, right, down, and it's an airstrike. Or stuff like that. So it's, in many other games, that kind of mechanic just wouldn't work. But somehow, in this game, it just adds to the frantic nature of it. It's another point of get good, too. It's like you can see, like you can start to memorize certain code, because the codes are basically the same for each stratagem. So it's like, I already know, basically, I can do, like, right off the bat without having to look, I can do the reinforce stratagem. So you start getting that muscle memory for the stratagems and everything. It does add to that tension, because when you're calling down a stratagem, you have to stop, and you can't move, you can't fire, you can't do anything. You just have to try to get that code out as fast as you can, throw out the ball, and get your stratagem done. So it adds to that frantic nature. And I think that one of the reasons why that works so well in these games is because these games are co-op. It's not competitive, which I love co-op games in general.
Yeah, you've been saying as you play this, like every time you mention it, it's everyone come play with me. It's so much better with people. And yeah, a lot of games are like that, but this one definitely, I wouldn't be interested in playing alone. Oh yeah, it'd be kind of like Diablo is for me. Like, I only want to play this with other people.
And like a couple other things, it's like going on to that playing it alone. This game is meant to be played with people, whether they're randos or it's especially good when you have a team, especially on comms, because then you can coordinate. Excuse me, and you can say, okay, I'm throwing an airstrike over there. Get out of that area. But the reason why that is, it's also because the difficulties don't scale. Doesn't matter how many people you have in your team, the difficulty is the same regardless. And another thing that I really appreciate about how they developed this is the way that they increase the difficulty of the missions. Because in a lot of other games, they would increase the stats of the creatures you're facing. So it's like, okay, this creature, you go up a difficulty, this creature has more health, does more damage. They don't do that in this. The creature is the same regardless of what difficulty you're on. But now instead of fighting 1, you're fighting 6. So they just everything just becomes more frantic. Like they increase the number of waves that are going to be coming at you. So once you're going into higher difficulties, like in the lower difficulties, you can kill off whatever's around you, and you'll have a little bit of breathing room to get objectives done. And it's like the lower the difficulty, usually the more that breathing room you'll have. Once you start cranking it up, though, you don't get that breathing room. You're just constantly being assaulted by whatever enemies you're facing, and you have to be very judicious, very picky with where you're going to go into combat, because you don't have to fight everything. It doesn't matter how many things you kill in this. All that's important is getting the objectives done. So you can go through a mission and not kill anything and get the same amount of experience as long as you got the objectives done. So it's just, I love the fact, the reason why I like that is because you can see an enemy and know immediately how much force you need to take out that enemy, regardless of the difficulty. So I know when I encounter, the lowly bug or the lowest automaton, it's going to take like one shot from my marksman rifle to take it out. And that's going to be the same regardless of what difficulty you're on. I really appreciate the fact that that's how they do it, instead of doing, start messing with the stats. But yeah, and so to kind of backtrack a little bit, I know I'm a little bit scattered about this. Going back to like the one of the issues with unlocking the stratagems in Helldivers 1, by making that change in Helldivers 2 to making it requisition slips on a menu rather than a mission reward, it completely solves that issue. So you can theoretically completely eliminate one of the enemies and still have access to all your stratagems, because it's just based on this currency rather than a mission reward. I like that. You can really see the through line with these mechanics with this studio through so many other games, starting with Magicka, going to Helldivers 1, going to Helldivers 2. I think they really hit out of the park with this one. And I love the fact that's co-op, that it's just frantic. Somehow, like I said, somehow the things that would irritate you in other games just somehow work in this one, mainly because they're not super detrimental. And it's like another thing that I had to really break the habit of was reloading. Because in every shooter that I've played so far, you reload and you keep all the ammo that's in that discarded clip. So there's no reason not to reload after every encounter. With this one though, in both Helldivers 1 and 2, when you reload, if there's any ammunition left in the magazine, it's discarded. It's just gone. You lose those shots.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant it auto reloaded, which would be much better.
No.
But yeah.
No, so you really, like, that was the first habit I had to try to break when I started playing this. Because again, I was used to playing like Halo and Gears of War and stuff like that, where it's like it didn't matter. You just reload after each encounter, so that way you're ready for the next encounter. This one is like, crap, I just lost like 15 rounds because I reloaded too early. But that being said, you can call in supply drops, which give you a bunch of your ammo back. It gives you grenades and stims back and stuff like that. You can find ammo boxes just out on the level. So there's a lot of ways to get
different weapons that work better on different enemies.
Yes.
I know there was a lot of that in 1.
Yeah.
I assume they have that in 2.
Oh yeah, it's like one thing, like fire. They have flamethrowers and napalm strikes and stuff like that. Those are almost completely ineffective against the automatons, but are devastating versus the bugs, versus the terminids. That's one instance. There's
It's like some kind of acid gun.
Yeah, there
was in the first one.
Yeah, there's a corrosive acid strike that you can call down, which is pretty even against everything, I think. It's effective against both the automatons and the terminids. Yeah,
I feel like 2 didn't even rely on 1 for its popularity. For some reason, 2 just took off like absolute crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is about that game right now that caught on so like wildfire. But like you hadn't even like, I think a lot of people hadn't heard of the first one.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't hear about Helldivers 1 until I started playing Helldivers 2. But I think honestly one of the reasons why Helldivers 2 took off so well is because it is co-op. So it's already that broadens the audience. And also I think the rules that it breaks, making it more unique, really draws people in. Because it's not just another Call of Duty, it's not just another Halo, it's not one of these big titles or anything like that. It breaks a lot of those rules, and at this point, it's actually refreshing that it does that. It's in a lot of cases, it's not a frustration. Another thing, friendly fire. It's like you have full friendly fire throughout the entire thing. It's like there have been multiple times when I there's even last night I was one of my favorite weapons is the autocannon. Love that weapon. Explosive damage, armor piercing, really good weapon. I like it. I'm firing off at this group of enemies, down the way, and one of my allies just happens to walk in my way just as I'm firing, and I just completely blow him up. Like full health, just gone. Oh, but again, because you have the reinforcements, you can just very easily call down a stratagem. He's back in the game, and it's a lot of the things that would make this game unbearable in other franchises. Makes it refreshing in this. Oh, I can't even, that's the closest explanation I can think of.
So what about the part-time aspect?
This is actually really good. Because most missions like max out at 40 minutes, which is relatively long for one mission, but a lot of times especially if you're in a good group, you can knock it down to like half an hour, maybe even less. So you can get through quite a few missions in a relatively short amount of time. So it does have those off ramps though, where you're just like, okay, I'm just going to do, like, typically the last couple of weeks they have what are called personal orders, where it's just something that you can do individually to get medals to unlock more stuff and the war bonds and everything like that. I've been just going through and it's like, okay, what do I need to do to get done with this personal order? That's usually what I do for the night, and just to get the medals. But like, you can just jump in. It's like, okay, I'm just doing a quick play in like 2 missions, and you level up, you get medals, you unlock some stuff, and it feels like you still accomplished something in a relatively short amount of time. So very easy on and off ramp with this game. So I really like it for that element too. Yeah, just really enjoying this game. And it kind of reminds me of, like, one way I've described it is Deep Rock Galactic meets Starship Troopers. So it's, if you like games like Deep Rock Galactic, the co-op experiences, you probably really enjoy this. I got one of my friends, actually someone else bought it for her, and she started playing it earlier in the week. And she's not typically a shooter fan, but she's been enjoying it as well. The couple of missions that she's been able to do with a couple of people. So yeah, I'm just really glad to be able to talk about this game in general. I've been really having a good time with it. I love the co-op aspect to it. I've said a couple of times that I'm no longer really the biggest fan of competitive shooters, just because I don't have the reaction speed of these younger people anymore. So like the co-op stuff. But yeah,
and having like other mission stuff to do besides shooting each other is
yeah,
a better game when you're not just a sniper expert.
Yeah, I mean, it's super satisfying to go through these drawn out missions, or you just like, there have been a couple times where I've been playing with a couple of my friends on some of the, like, difficulty 5, I think, is what we've gotten up to, out of 9, and it's like we're just a little bit off our game, and all of us are getting killed off. We're just like, okay, we're out of reinforcements. I'm the only person left, and I've actually clutched a match where it was like I was the last one left. Extraction's down. I was like, all I need to do is try to get to the extraction ship, but it's swarmed with Terminids. I was like bobbing and weaving, diving all over the place, and finally get into the extraction shuttle. I'm the last one left, and we take off and we get our rewards and everything. It is very satisfying to take out a lot of these bigger enemies too. So one of the bigger Terminid is called a Bile Titan, which is just this massive 4-legged insectoid creature that just spews bile at you, this acidic bile at you. And it's just so satisfying to like get the right shot, take it out, and just see it just flop to the ground. Another thing that's really fun is when you're calling down like a supply drop or something like that, or you're calling back down reinforcements, the reinforcements, the player that's coming down is what's called a hell pod. It's basically a space bullet that they're in. You can actually control that. You can control a little bit of where that goes. It is super satisfying to aim that and hit a target with the pod, because you can do that. You can kill off some pretty big targets doing that. So sometimes the best way to kill a target is to die first and then come back. So it's super satisfying, and I can get really competitive somehow, and even in a co-op game, I get a little bit irritated sometimes if I'm killed off by a mine or whatever, like an allied mine, but it's still just getting through the objectives. Death is somewhat irrelevant in this game. As long as you have the reinforcements, it's just getting the objectives done, protecting your allies, killing the enemies. I'm really enjoying this. And I actually have been thinking,
Obviously.
yeah, I actually have been thinking it's like trying out Helldivers 1, just by the merits of Helldivers 2, and because I've played Magicka before. That's just hilarity ensues as well. Really
Becoming a fan of actual Arrowhead at this point.
Yes, actually. Yeah. And I'm really glad, really happy for how successful Helldivers 2 has become as well. Because like when it first came out, they were having all kinds of server issues and everything, not because the servers were bad or faulty or anything like that or buggy. They were just getting overwhelmed with people trying to get into the game. It's like they were just overwhelmed with success, basically. And since then, they've figured that out. They've gotten more servers. Now they're starting to draw out on a lot of the content. And even the way that they do the extra content, I think is hilarious. Because they won't announce that a new enemy is in the game. They're just like, all of a sudden you just start seeing people on Twitter going, oh crap, there's flying Terminids now. And then there have been stories, like I've heard that the CEO of the company will come out on Twitter. It's like, yeah, that's just propaganda. Don't, he'll just go like fully into the like playing the role of the character and everything and say, it's like, no, that's just propaganda. Don't listen to it. And it's like,
Right on.
yeah, it's, and again, somehow, I can't even really explain why. It's just like they break all the rules and it works. It's just impressive. Yeah. Another.
Wish I could play.
Yeah. I mean, I still have my PC back here, my random one that
I know, but I think Theo needs it more.
Probably. Oh, I do really hope that eventually this does come to Game Pass, or at least Xbox.
Something.
That would be nice, because we would get so much more help. Just like get all the Halo people to come over to this and to start killing off Terminids. It's like there won't be an enemy left for us to face in like a month. Although that's another thing.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin Arrowhead like that.
The thing is, it's like in Helldivers 1, there's 3 enemy races. In Helldivers 2, there's only 2 so far. But conveniently, there's an area on the bottom of the map that has no enemies yet. So they still have space. They still have room to introduce that 3rd enemy, which will be interesting. I'm hoping they do that relatively soon. But you know, I like the enemies that they have right now. I like the content that they have for us already. And yeah, I just think it's still very interesting how they can make that jump from isometric top-down shooter to third-person shooter and have that much success. I think it's really cool how they can take similar ideas and then just branch them off and like that.
It's a good world.
Yeah,
Took
indeed.
it from all the worlds they liked already.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, like I'm honestly, after we get done streaming here, I don't have to work tomorrow. I'm taking the day off.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to, somewhat delay posting the show and probably stream a little bit of Helldivers after this. So Be interesting.
I'm gonna hope my husband will stay up a little bit, even though he worked so hard in the yard today, so we can watch a show together.
Yeah. I've been hearing good things about Fallout. Yeah.
Loving it.
I'm on episode, I think 6 or 7, something like that. Yeah, there are definitely points that are just like, oh yeah, probably didn't feel good. There's definitely been those kinds of moments, but overall, it feels very in line with Fallout. So I'm really impressed with it. Anyways, this is not a Fallout show.
Nope.
Anyways, everyone, if you like what you've heard and you would like to help us out, you can give us a review over on Apple Podcast. You could follow my Twitch and or YouTube channels for our live recordings Sunday nights starting at 9:15 Eastern Time. Or you can become one of our patrons over at patreon.com/ptgcast. And we would like to thank our board member, Stephanie Hurst. Thank you for supporting us for several months now, and really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate becoming one of our board members. If you'd like to contact us, you can with our email, parttimegamers.cast@gmail.com, or you can join our Discord channel. Link to that is on my website. You can also find it in our show notes. Thank you for listening. Everyone, join us next week. We're going to be finishing off our theme of the same but different with Risk of Rain 1 and 2. Really looking forward to those ones as well. Good roguelites. One's a side-scrolling, one's a third-person shooter. So going to be interesting to talk about those ones as well. Those have been on my radar for a little bit as well. I'm Sean. You can find the show and the rest of my work and links to my socials, the Discord channel, my Twitch and YouTube channels, and the Apple Podcast listing using the link bit.ly/CI Productions. Ember, where can people find you around the internet?
The easiest thing to do is go to 9of12.com. That's NINEOF12.com.
Yep. And
you can all over the place.
Yep. And you can find some of Theo's work over at swellcast.com/thatoneweirdo. At some point, I will remember to put Rabbit and Red Radio in linked in here as well, but that is not today. All right, everyone, thank you for listening. And until next time, we are the Part-Time Gamers clocking out.